Variables are key parts in programming, and there are three ways to declare variables in JavaScript. We can use the VAR keyword, the Const keyword, and the let keyword. But what's the difference among those keywords? In this video, I'll be sharing the main differences among those keywords. That's it. Let's jump right into it. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to this channel.
First step is going to be to declare all those three variables using three different keywords. And I'm going to start by declaring a variable using the var keyword. And I'll say var name equal. Let me just put my name, Mari. Second, I'll use the let keyword. And I'm going to say let age equal 20 for 20 years old. And down here, I'm going to use the const keyword. Say const place equal, let me say London, and these are up to you. You can put whatever you want there. And the difference between var on one side and let and const on the other side is that you can redeclare a variable that used a var keyword, but on the other side you can't redeclare a variable that used let and const keyword. And let me quickly show you that. I redeclare this variable name, and I'm going to put, let me just say Judas. I'm going to put Judas, and here right down I'm going to try to redeclare a variable age, and I put it 45, and I try to redeclare const place, and I'll put it Miami. So let me quickly console those variables in my console. Say console log name, age, and place. Okay, and let me quickly open my console here by right clicking and inspect. Okay, we have our console right here, and when I try to refresh, we quickly get an error, and you'll see identifier age has already been declared, and that's because you can't redeclare that variable that used a let keyword. Let's try to comment this out, and we remain with this age we declared right up there. When you refresh, we get another error, and you'll see identifier place has already been declared because we have declared it twice. So when I comment this and we refresh, you'll see that everything works just fine, but we didn't get any error saying we had already declared the var keyword. Okay, let me quickly change the behavior of, let me quickly separate them and declare each aside so that you really see the difference. And I'm going to declare the age here, and down here I'm going to declare, I'm going to console log this place. Okay, let's quickly refresh. Now they really work fine because we had previously we had commented out all these redeclaration. But let me remove the comment so that you see how the errors are displayed. And quickly we get the same error. We get the same error saying that age has already been declared. So if you comment the upper one and you comment this one, you comment it like this. When you refresh, okay, they're there. You see Judas, you see 45, that is right here, and you see Miami, that is there. And now let me log only the var keyword So I'll remove these ones. And the var keyword is declared twice. So are we going to see Muddy or Judas? So let's give it a try. When you refresh, you see Judas because this is the redeclaration right here. And that's a quick example to show you that the var keyword can be redeclared, but let and const can't be redeclared. And that's a good practice in big projects. You'll have to use const and let for those variables you don't want to redeclare to avoid unwanted mistakes. Let's say you're working on a project with someone, but you had already declared name as Muddy and you don't want to change it. But the other person comes in and declare that variable and redeclare that variable and assign a new name. That can be quickly annoying in a big project. So you in most cases you'll use let or const to your needs. Another difference between var and let and const is that const are block scoped, but var is global scope. And let me first get rid of those lines of code, and I'll stay with one name. Okay, like that. I'll remove this console log. And as I told you, var is global scope, but let and const are function scope. And I'll say if true, I'm creating a block here. If true, now that's where I'm going to declare these functions. I'm going to declare these variables and I'm going to put them there. Also const for the constant. Okay, so that means if true, that's when you were going to declare these variables. If and if only it's true. Okay, but now let's try to console log them outside. We are trying to console them out. We are trying to log them outside that block. Console log name, and let me just copy that. Okay. Here we are going to console log age, and down here we are going to log the place in the console. Okay, so now let me refresh, and you see the name is there coming from line 10. That means the name, this name here, is being logged in the console. But from line 11 we get an error and saying age is not defined, and that age has been declared using the let keyword. Let me try to also comment this line out. I refresh. Oh, we get the same behavior, but now saying place is not defined at line 12. This is this line. Place is not defined. But that seems to be strange because name has output Muddy, but these two are not defined. And this is the block we are talking about. So the var keyword is available even outside that block, but the const and let keywords are only available inside this block. That means if these two lines are put inside that block, if we put them inside this block, we are not going to get an error. Console.log place. Okay, so let's give it a try and see. Yeah, as you can tell, they are all now fine. From line 8 we get the age. Line 9 we get the place, that's Miami, and from line 12 we get this name. But even if we put this inside the block, we are going to have the same behavior, yeah. But if we put all of them outside this block and we refresh, you're going to get an error because now we are outside this block where the age and the place have been defined. And that's what I mean by VAR is global scope, but let and const are only block scope, so they are only available inside this block. When you go outside that block, you can't get access to them. But then the var keyword is available everywhere, inside and outside that block. Let me get rid of this code. And here, I'm going to show you another difference between var on one side and len and const on the other side. And here, I'm going to declare this variable now. I'm going to say var name equal, again, body, and I'm going to put let constant, let age equal, let me just put a random number, and down here I'm going to select const place equal Miami. Okay, so let's give this a try and see what you are getting. When you refresh, they say cannot access age before initialization. And that seems to be normal because we are trying to log the age before we initialize it. So because in programming, the execution is from top to bottom. That means we are starting on this line. So we are going to console the age, but that age is not, at this point, that age variable is not defined, right? That's why we are getting this error, cannot access age before initialization. So let me try to put age up here. I put it up there so that we first declare it, then we console log it in our console. I refresh. Okay, I get it right here, 7K, but I'm getting another error, cannot access place before initialization. Okay, in the same behavior, so I'm going to move this code up. Okay, now that that line of code is up there, I'm going to refresh. And that's strange. Everything is being output in the console, but our var keyword is down. And we are not getting an error saying that the error saying cannot access name before declaration. And that's what I was saying, a difference between var on one side and let and const on the other side. That is because the var keyword can be accessed before declaration, but the let and const keywords cannot be accessed before declaration. And if that stays there, we reload again, same result. Even if we put it up here, and this one down, we refresh, we get an error saying cannot access age before initialization. So let me just put it up here, and I refresh, everything works just fine. So we can access the var, we can access a variable declared using a var keyword. We can access it before initialization, but we can't access a variable created using the const or let keyword before initialization. Okay, let me get rid of this code, and I'm going now to talk about const and let. Even though they really almost work the same, we get some difference between let and const. And those differences are, actually it's only one difference, is that a variable that has been declared using the let keyword can be reassigned, but the variable called using the const keyword cannot be reassigned. And let me quickly show you that. I'll say let name, ready, and const, let me put a constant down here, const age equal 50. And now to reassign some values to this variable, let's say name equal in Judas, and I reassign the age equal 40. And I just try to console log these values, console log age. Let me start by consoling. I console log name, and down here I console log the age. When I refresh here, we quickly get an error saying assignment to constant variable. So let me comment these and I refresh. It works just fine. You'll see age is 50 here, and for the name we get Judas because previously it was Muddy, but after being reassigned you get Judas. That means you can reassign a new value to a variable called using the let keyword. If you put here let, you'll get an error. You'll get an error because there you have redeclared it. Like look, you'll see name has already been declared. But when you just say name, there you reassign a new value and you'll see it works just fine. And that's the major difference between let and const keyword. Let can be you can reassign a new value to a let variable, but you cannot reassign to a constant. As the name said, it's constant, so you cannot reassign any value to it. So guys, that was all for this video. Hope you got the difference between var on one side and let and const on the other side. And if you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends, click on the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. And let me know in the comment which kind of video you would like in the future.